Obviously, you know you love yourself some LeBron James.
Yeah. You know they're gonna happen. He the GOAT. He the GOAT.
He's not.
Say it with me.
He's not.
He the GOAT.
He's not. I just got off the phone with MJ last night just to remind him.
You should have hung up on him.
I hung up on MJ.
Yeah. Say the GOAT.
The blasphemy coming out of your mouth right now. Okay, it's okay. You can believe that. You can believe that.
The man still going strong at 21. But we'll do. I'm sure. You know what?
Right.
The first LeBron topic don't need to be nobody.
A tale as old as time, the NBA GOAT debate. Who could the GOAT really be? Is it LeBron with his playmaking and leadership on the court? Is it Michael Jordan with his determination and drive to lead his team to be undefeated in the finals? Is it Kareem with his feats offensively and defensively, with him being second ranked in points and third in blocks all time? Is it Bill Russell, who won many championships throughout the early NBA? Or possibly, is it even the best shooter of all time? We'll save Curry for another video, but honestly, if he does win again, we might have to put him in there. Now, it has come to my attention that some of you feel strongly about who the GOAT is for the NBA, especially on my account due to my support for LeBron.
LeBron really is an incredible basketball player. And the old heads gonna tell you all the time, LeBron's a factor of not having to go against 90s defense. You know, he wouldn't survive the 90s. Y'all act like LeBron ain't 260 pounds at 6'9". Bro is a problem.
I mean, it is a solid argument to be had, and it makes for great media, sometimes even gets dragged. Topic has Stevie A in the studio jumping. But for the NBA, unlike most professional sports, it does not have a solidified GOAT. For an example, in the NHL, there's Wayne Gretzky. For women's tennis, there's Serena Williams. In the NFL, there's Tom Brady. And it's to be said now that Patrick Mahomes is catching up. But still, Tom is the GOAT. Even in the WNBA, they have Diana Taurasi. But somehow when it comes to the NBA, there's a little misdirection. So first off, let me start with what makes a player a GOAT. The greatest of all time, or GOAT, is an acronym which is deemed for the undisputed master of a sport, which means every time they step on the court, I'm seeing absolute cinema. But let's focus on the greatness specifically. Now, for a lot of people old enough to watch the NBA when it first formed, well, first of all, if I do have senior citizens watching, click off now. I don't know if this video is going to be gun on the heart. Back to what I was saying, baby boomers would claim a player like Bill Russell, who won 5 MVPs and 8 straight rings from 1959 to 1965, who also was a civil rights activist, is their GOAT. Or even Wilt Chamberlain, who dominated through his whole career with 7 scoring championships, where one season he averaged 50 points, led the league in rebounds 11 times, and won 2 rings. Maybe let's look a little bit further down the line when people experience a 7'2", 225-pound center named Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or formerly known as Lou Alcindor. He played 20 seasons, won 6 rings, was a 6-time MVP, had 2 Finals MVP, and finished his career with the most points ever, only to be passed 30 years later by another player. Some years after him, people had experienced Michael Jordan, who made one, if not the most iconic shoe brand ever, won 6 championships, never lost, has 5 MVPs, and the list keeps going. Fast forward to now, grown men in their 20s have never experienced a season where LeBron wasn't playing. He's won 4 rings, 4 MVPs, and 4 Finals MVPs. Is the all-time leading scorer and is now known as Captain America. In general, all these players I just listed were great in their eras, and I hope you guys are seeing where I'm going with this argument. Now let's focus on their greatness on the court and look at stats. Not on some Jimmy High Roller type stuff though. You have to pay me to punch in those numbers. Back on track to what I was talking about, Kareem has been viewed as one of the greatest scorers ever. In addition to that, now he has the second most points ever with 38,387 points in 1,560 games. In contrary, LeBron has passed him in only 1,410 games. LeBron is almost on any historical stat list you can think of, but just as every debate goes, there's 2 sides to the story. Kareem played in a more big heavy era with notable players such as Wilt Chamberlain, who still doesn't have his 100-point game footage, but we have Jackie Robinson football footage now. He played against Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, Bill Laimbeer, Bill Walton, Moses Malone, and still scored 38,000 points. To add on to that, the 3-point line wasn't even made until his 10th season in. It didn't matter though, because he only made 1 his whole career. All he needed was that cheesy skyhook. It was damn near automatic. But in comparison, LeBron currently has 40k points, and due to the different eras of basketball, it's perfectly normal for a big to take 2 or 3 shots outside the night due to these changes. LeBron had to create shots off bump fades, and he's not even a right bump fade type of guy. The FU threes, acrobatic finishes, and a couple homicides to keep up. Either way, both hit 39 and started crapping the bed. Kareem went from averaging 23 to 17 in 1 year, and LeBron is currently at 22. Don't let the 30-point games fool you. He'll give you 10 and 6 any other night, and I'm talking 6 turnovers. I could care less about how much he has the ball. 6 is a lot. And don't think I'm leaving out Jordan or Bill Russell. I'll get to them in a bit. You have to give Jordan his props for the competition he was going against. I mean, before he was beaten up on the league, he got beat up on. I could say the same for Bron, but it was slightly different in the 90s due to players not giving a fuck. I mean, look at some of these clips. Kareem even got some work in there too. Now, the Stars still did get some calls like how they do these days, but Back then, they just didn't care. And you can tell me if I'm exaggerating, but by the clips I'm seeing, it looks like Monday Night Raw. And the "we're done with the 90s" trend really doesn't do the 90s any justice for the fact that the game has gotten better over time. I've seen clips of Jordan not going left, our defense is not guarding players, bad stunts in a game where players can't score or dribble, and etc. Like, we obviously know defenses would not know what to do in the 90s if they had to guard Kyrie or Curry, but put Michael Jordan in the 60s, he would be banned for dunking like how Kareem was in college. So besides the point, a strong argument between all of them is competition. Well, let's look back at Bill Russell's comp for the finals, even though all he did was rebound. He averaged 24.4 rebounds in his first playoff series, and throughout his career, his only comp was Wilt's big ass, where he beat him 7 times in the playoffs, but that's all he had back then, and he dominated. I already briefly talked about Jordan and Kareem, but let's talk about LeBron, since personally I got to watch his career since he's been in the NBA my whole life. He won on an 8 years final stretch where he faced teams like the 2011 Bulls, who were a defensive powerhouse and had a young D Rose and Joakim Noah. He still gentleman swept them though. The 2012 Celtics, where LeBron dropped 45 in a game 6 to save his team from a list of Hall of Famers like Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. Paul George in general, who was going back and forth with LeBron every single time they faced. The Spurs from 2013 to 2014 with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi, and Danny Green all on the same team. The 2015 Hawks filled with all-stars like Jeff Teague, Paul Millsap, Kyle Korver, and Al Horford. LeBron ended up sweeping them, even had Jeff Teague pushing them into the crowd. The 2018 Celtics, who had been led by rookie Jason Tatum, who had taken Giannis and Joel Embiid out of the playoffs prior to facing LeBron. And then we have the Warriors, who gave him hell from 2015 to 2018, only getting better every year while LeBron's teams got worse. And after he beat them following a record win season, they picked up Kevin Durant, and to this day, this matchup doesn't even look close on paper. He still lost though, not even a win this year. But after explaining this all, it leads me to question, why is it so hard for the NBA to find their GOAT? Well, first off, it has to be undisputed. I also think it's strongly due to how much the game's changed. Players have developed to be better over time, and a lot of the rules have changed. The NBA looks completely different now than it did 40 years or even 20 years ago. I think most fans' motives for their GOAT is due to people having watched these magical moments and careers from these players. And at the end of the day, both changed the game, came through and made a lane. Who's to say who's greater? All we know is that they ain't the same. And yes, I know I quoted J. Cole. Thank you. And also, stop using their age against them. LeBron is getting old. We've known this for years. He's honestly a season away from pulling a Vince Carter and making business decisions at the rim. Jordan was fighting for his life in some instances during them Wizards days, and it's about the same with Kareem starting to fall off too. Them wheels don't spin forever, guys. I hope we can all collectively agree today that the NBA GOAT really is just the friends we made on the way. Thank you for watching. Also, shout out my boy Terry for helping me find this video idea. I had this junk in the vault since like August. And thank you guys for 200 subscribers. I'm really thankful. I hope to get to 1K one day. Bars question mark. But I'm about to go. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.